Welcome to Two Drugged Girls.
The podcast where two girls,
No, women.
on the verge of a nervous breakdown,
Sit around and shoot the shit.
then shoot the science in 45 minutes or less.
But probably more.
I'm Rachel,
And I'm Jessica.
and we'll be talking all things millennial, sex, relationships, and pop culture.
But also the latest science studies and trends being young women in STEM.
And of course, being on prescription drugs.
We're a podcast for women, by women.
But men can come too. Hey, welcome to Two Drugged Girls. I'm Rachel,
And I'm Jessica.
and this is episode 4.
On Instagram, straight flexing.
I don't even know that song. But,
You're missing out.
yeah, if you haven't clued in, we're talking about social media.
Yeah.
Pervasive, unavoidable.
In our day and age, yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Okay, I'm quizzing you. How many social media apps do you have on your phone?
Oh my goodness. Okay, I got rid of Twitter. I have Facebook.
You got rid of Twitter. Why?
I don't know. I just wasn't using it anymore.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so Facebook, Snapchat, Insta.
Uh-huh.
Is YouTube considered?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
YouTube. Is that it?
Do you have Pinterest?
Oh, yeah, I do.
Okay.
Recently, because one of my good friends is getting married, so, you know, gotta look up some bridal shower
DIYs.
ideas. Yeah. And, like, I'm horrible for spending time on this stuff.
I spend so much time on social media. I mean, I have all those things, plus I have Twitter because I'm obsessed. I've Reddit, too. Do you Reddit?
No. Because
Yeah.
I could get lost in Reddit for
Oh,
hours,
Yeah.
and then I don't sleep, and it's just a terrible, terrible cycle.
that is me.
Yeah. How many do you have, Rachel?
Okay, so Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Reddit, Snapchat, Pinterest. That's 6.
You got me
YouTube
beat.
is 7.
You got me beat.
Right? And I guess I have the Facebook Messenger app. But
Yeah, I consider that just Facebook.
There you go. I have Google Hangouts, but I don't use it.
Okay.
And WhatsApp. Is that social media? Not really. It's more communication.
Yeah, it's like texting.
Yeah. And then I have a ton of like shopping apps. I have Amazon.
Of course. But that's not social media.
No, that's not social media. But I just got a smartphone 2 years ago.
Yep.
And I just got data about 3 months ago.
Life changing,
I know,
isn't it?
It really is. Because I commute and I travel a lot, so I figured when I got a job TAing that I needed to be a bit more accessible than I was.
Right.
So I ended up getting a data plan, and it's so expensive. I got the worst plan ever. Like, the worst. But
Who are you with?
I'm with TELUS.
Oh, I was going to say. My brother-in-law works at Rogers.
Yeah, he could have got me a deal, huh?
Well, maybe not a deal, but he could.
Just shop around.
Yeah.
Yeah, I pay an exorbitant amount of money, but it's fine. It's only for 2 years. And you know what? Even though I really love data, I'm going to get rid of it once I'm done school.
Yeah.
I just don't need it.
That's totally fair.
Yeah. I'm at home anyway.
Let's be real.
Yeah, seriously. Okay, so let's shoot the shit for a little bit. Let's talk about something that really fucking annoys me. Facebook account sharing.
Okay.
You ever have that old lady aunt who fucking shares her Facebook account with her husband?
Yep.
And it's either a smashed up name or it's under like his name, and then
Greg and Debbie. All one word.
or it's under his name, and then she signs every message.
Love Aunt Debbie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Why? Just get your own Facebook account.
I know.
I mean, I can see them maybe making the argument that like they have all the same friends, especially if like it's an older person.
Touche, touche.
But it gets so confusing.
So, I have a little thing here.
Okay.
To interject.
Yeah.
So, my father recently passed away.
Right.
In August of 2017. Mm-hmm. So, my mother would never, when he was alive, would never post on Instagram, but she would, like, use his Instagram to creep and, like, keep tabs on family members who live out of town.
Okay.
And then he passed away and she continued to creep. And now and again, she would want to, like, message someone.
Jesus Christ.
So it was weird because it was coming up as, like, my dead father. But it was my mother. So I eventually went and changed. Thank God I have his passwords. And changed it so that it's now her name. And it's a little bit less weird. But it still goes to, like, any updates go to his email. And, like, part of the reason she doesn't really get her own is because she doesn't know how it works. And I think there's a huge number of people in that generation who just don't understand social
and don't
media
care to learn,
or
I think
are
that's
just
a big
like
thing.
I don't want to say incapable of learning, but like kind of incapable of learning. And yeah.
See, I disagree. I think that they are capable of learning, and maybe not everybody, to be fair. But it's like I see my grandfather who is, oh God, he's in his early 80s, either late 70s, early 80s, and he tries, bless his heart. I mean, he's thankfully stopped commenting on all of our Facebook things and actually just likes it now. But he's with it. He's really only on Facebook. But with email, like I bought my grandma a Kindle and he was like trying to figure out how to suss out Amazon and purchasing books on Amazon Kindle and all that stuff. So he really is jazzed to learn and he wants to learn, whereas my grandma's like, oh, I just don't fuss with that. And I think a lot of that has to do with the attitude, right? It's that, you know, they just don't want to learn it because they've done without for so many years. But I think it's great when they expand. But my thing is like, it's benign. It doesn't really matter, but it drives me up the wall when I see them sharing Facebook accounts. Especially, so not just talking about older folks, talking about younger people too.
Yes, younger couples.
Younger couples sharing a Facebook account. Why?
Don't do it. Just don't.
Don't do it. It's so annoying. I don't know who I'm talking to. And most often it's the girl.
Exactly.
So
I was just about
get
to
your
say,
own.
one of you is never actually using this. Your name is just there to be there.
So then just have the other partner not ever have social media.
Exactly.
Especially when Facebook has been really cracking down on people who correctly use their name. Like you can't have a nickname or you can't have a different name, which I don't necessarily believe in. Like, I think anybody should have whatever name that they want.
Put out there.
And so how is it fair to have some smashed up name that doesn't exist? But you can't use, you know, a pseudonym or you can't use an alias if you have...
street name.
Yeah.
Because you're on the Instagram trade Flexin.
Or if you have a stalker. You know.
Touche.
Right?
Like, I don't use my real name on Facebook because when I was in teacher's college, I didn't want kids finding me.
To search
and
you. Yeah.
Creeping up on me and like employers creeping up on me. Like, I went to university, there's photos of me drinking.
Yeah.
I can't necessarily delete every single one. I might be in the background of one and not realize, you know?
Exactly. So. You can't control. I mean, I guess maybe you could on certain settings now. Yeah. I don't know, but well, it's funny. I was on the train going to school, and there was a woman who was like a couple seats ahead of me, and she had 2 laptops open. One was on Facebook. Which looked like she was like creeping, and the other was a resume, and it turns out that she was on the phone, I presume, with the person who belongs to that resume, having a phone interview, and had his Facebook up, and he was like holding 2 beers in a photo, and I was like, that is why you keep that fucking shit on lock.
Yeah.
And I've heard something like, I don't know, I'm gonna butcher this, but it's like you keep your Facebook for what you want your auntie and your grandma to know and to see, and then that's what Instagram's for. Yeah. Where you have a different name, or you have like, because there's more liberties that you can take with a username, and that's where you have all the partying shots and whatever. Yeah. I personally just think you should keep everything off. Yeah. Really, I mean, because you're so searchable and visible and accessible, and I just don't think that social media presence matters. 100%. It really does.
Especially for people like us who are just starting out in careers.
Yeah.
Like, if, you're older, you're already established, okay, whatever, you can get away with more stuff. But for us, no. Yeah. Keep that shit on lock.
I mean, I had a family friend who worked for National Defense, and, like, we couldn't even allude to the fact that she was even around us. Like, she didn't have any kind of social media account, but there was no way that we could ever, post a photo.
With her in it.
Wow. So yeah, there's still jobs where you literally cannot be on social media.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Damn.
Okay. This next one. Making announcements on social media.
Okay. I have two minds here.
Okay.
I get it.
Yeah.
You are so excited for that new little bundle of joy.
Yeah.
You are so happy you finally got the keys to your brand new house and you're 27 and you own a home. Good for you. Okay?
Yeah.
But
Right.
fuck off.
Like, I don't want to see it.
I don't want to see it.
Yeah.
And it's not even how do I say this? It's not that I'm like comparing my life to yours and like, but some people do, especially young impressionable kids.
Right.
Who are like, "Oh, why is their life so perfect and mine's not?" And
I mean, here's the thing. I don't want to see it, but I can do something like unfollow someone or stop seeing their stuff on my timeline. I had this friend who I worked with at the coffee shop job that I have, and she got married this summer.
okay.
I kid you not. I mean, months, probably years before the wedding, every post that she ever made was about the wedding, about the DIY shit she's doing for the wedding, about the dress she's wearing to the wedding, about the bridesmaids that she's bringing to the wedding. I mean, everything centers around this fucking wedding. And then she got married in whatever, August or September. And then every post since then has been like, Throwback Thursday to my wedding.
Oh
now I get it. I mean, you've spent X amount of money on a wedding.
But it's like, why not leave that for the surprise? Here's my wedding. Now you get to see all the work I've been putting in for the last 2 years.
Right.
Like,
I mean, I just think people are going to do what they want to do. And I'm silently judging you for putting your whole life on social media. But you have, I have no control. Exactly. You have every right to do it. I have no control over your life. I do have the control over what I can see. So I'll fucking probably mute you.
Yeah.
But I would personally never
Yeah.
announce anything in my life on social media. And like, I have family members who are literally all over the world, and I get it being able to put something on social media like, oh, you know, we're expecting, or, you know, we're having a baby, or we're getting married, or whatever, and it's so much easier to just put it on social media, and like, everybody then finds out, and everybody knows. You don't have to tell a million people. It's out there. To me, it just makes me so uncomfortable to track and announce everything that's going on in my life.
Yeah.
I just would never do it.
No. And you know what? I'm probably guilty of doing it for something.
I'm sure I've done it.
Like, when I got into teachers college, like, I was so effing happy. Like, it was probably 2 a.m. when I got that acceptance email, and I was like, oh, screenshots going on Facebook.
Right.
But, like, things like getting married, like, no.
No.
I just wouldn't.
Social media is never going to see, I'm never getting married, but they're never going to see my children.
Yeah.
I don't believe, this is another thing, but I don't believe that children is a place, or social media is a place for children.
No.
I just, unless, you know, well, it's tough because it's like, you know, if parents give permission for their kids to be on social media and the kids know about social media and want to, and they're giving consent in the way that they know how.
Yeah.
That's like, but personally, my kids will never be on there.
Yeah.
And it's not because I want to shelter them, or I just don't think it's appropriate, and I just don't want why does every single moment in our lives have to be traceable?
Yeah.
That's like a weird human thing, is like, we want to make our mark world, yeah, exactly, before we die, but like, I have no fear of that.
No.
I'm going to be forgotten.
100%.
Like, and I'm perfectly fine, because you know what? I'll be dead.
Welcome to life and death and existing.
Exactly. But yeah, so when it comes to making announcements on social media, I'm a hard no.
Yeah. I'm with you.
Yeah.
The people who I want to inform about these big life events, I will tell them.
And this is another thing that I see a lot on some groups that I'm in on Facebook, because I participate in some online communities.
Yes.
Is people get upset when family members, especially, or close friends, announce things on social media and before telling them in person.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't understand that logic. I really don't. If someone is telling someone on social media about a thing that happened in their life, they're doing it, presumably, I think, they're doing it because it's just easier to just tell everybody on social media.
Yeah.
So if that's the way...
It doesn't mean you're less than.
Exactly. And if that's the way the society is going... You know, sure, I just wouldn't be offended if I saw that you were pregnant on social media. I wouldn't be upset and mad
that
you didn't tell me in person because, it's not about you. Would I personally announce it on
No.
social media? No. But that doesn't mean that, like, I should get upset because you announced it on social media and you didn't tell me in person. That's, like, a weird thing that I see happening a lot where people get upset about it because they didn't find out firsthand. But Jesus, I mean, everybody puts all their shit on social media. Like, what do you expect? So you have to wait. Oh, I don't know. Anyway, I feel like
it's very showy.
Yeah.
And, like...
That's the thing. That's what it is.
And that's the thing. You don't actually know if these people are happy. Like, are you getting married because you truly love this person and want to spend your life together? And
or because that's the next step.
Or because that's the next step. And it's, like, what's expected.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah.
So, like, just don't. Just don't do it.
Just don't do it. Okay. Last topic. I feel like this is just us grieving.
Oh, my God.
Social influencers.
Okay.
What is a social influencer? Can you tell me?
Not in a clear, concise manner at this point.
I understand it to be a person or association or whatever who have a certain number of followers or whatever analytic the social media uses, such that they get paid to post content.
Okay.
Now, I don't understand when this became like
so,
a
like,
job.
internet celebrities?
Right.
Okay.
People on Instagram, they have the title, you know, when people write their job or their profession or what, you know, something that describes themselves.
Their title is social
influencer.
Oh my God, I've never seen that.
You've never seen that?
I haven't been looking for it, so.
Yeah, now you'll notice.
Now I will notice.
Yeah. And I just think, like, is it that I'm jealous that they get paid, you know, some get paid a lot of money.
Yeah.
To
and
post
it's like, how did you
sponsored
get there?
content.
How
exactly.
is this your life?
Yeah.
And I've worked my ass off in school and I can't fucking get a job.
I want to take a photo of myself with a watch behind two babes.
Right?
And a car.
Hashtag ad.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, I think it's... I mean, that in particular of, like, posting with girls and all that stuff, that's another topic that we'll talk about later. But, yeah, I think that they are themselves social influencers, and it's scary how much influence
they actually have.
Seriously. I mean, speaking of online communities, there are tons of women who I see who talk about how their kids now do the whole, like, they'll host YouTube shows. Yeah. Like, they'll simulate YouTube shows, and they give the spiel of, like and subscribe, you know, tune in next week, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, you're sitting there thinking, like, where did they learn this? Where did they pick this up? But because YouTube is free, and it's on nearly every electronic that you can get, now even on TVs, kids are able to see anything. Yeah. Do they have parental controls on YouTube? You can set them.
You
perhaps.
might be able to.
Right. But that's, I mean, not everything is...
And, like, I know they have, like, YouTube Kids.
Right.
But still.
It's kind of terrifying.
It is. And, like, some of the content...
Yeah.
I have some adorable nieces and nephews, okay?
Yeah.
The ones that I daycare right now love going on YouTube Kids. And they literally watch...
Are they shows?
No.
Oh.
They watch adults who love toys and merch unwrap.
Yes, this thing. Unboxing and stuff.
Unboxing and, like, oh my God, it drives me nuts. And they love it. They eat it up. Yeah. And I'm like, please don't waste your life watching this. Yeah. Please.
What is this going to do to them? Do you wonder?
I don't know. And then the disappointment when, like, it's Christmas or whatever, their birthday, and you give them a toy and it's like a surprise bag and they don't get the surprise that they wanted. It's a fucking surprise, child.
Yeah.
Like, But they're so young, they can't understand that.
It's interesting because it's a whole new level of marketing.
Yeah.
Right? Because companies are now noticing that through social media, they're able to advertise, and probably for a lot cheaper.
Yep.
Than a commercial spot.
Yep.
They don't have to film it. They don't have to, they just give it.
They just mail the product and bam.
Exactly. They have, I'm sure they look over the content that the influencer themselves are making and then approve it.
Yep.
And it's like they didn't have to do any work.
No. And, like, how often is this influencer gonna say, like, this product sucks?
Yeah.
No, because they want more free products, so they're gonna talk it up.
Exactly. So you never know. And they all give that spiel of, like, listen, I know this is an ad, but I really use this, or I really like it, or I love it, or whatever. And you believe them. It's worked. I went through a phase where I was obsessed with... Have you ever watched Zoella?
Yes.
I was obsessed with her. I don't know why. But I was obsessed with, she's obsessed with Lush. Mm-hmm. And I hate Lush. I've always hated Lush. It gives me a headache, the store itself.
Yeah, I can't walk in there.
I cannot walk in there. And I went through this phase where I was obsessed with Lush. I wanted Lush. Every time I felt compelled. Like, there was a moment where I got up from my couch and went to the mall to go to Lush. But I couldn't get into the store. And I had this moment where I was like, I'm literally only here
because I watched a stupid video.
I watched a YouTube video, or several.
Yeah.
And they had these really cool bath bombs, and it's totally made me literally get up from my couch and go to the mall and to go to the store that I know I hate and that I couldn't even get in because it was just so overwhelming, so strongly smelling. It compelled me to do that. Isn't that insane?
The power of marketing, man.
Yeah. And it's crazy. The kind of marketing that, like, I haven't had television since 2005. Mm-hmm. And, like, my mom cut our cable, and then I just never got cable when I moved out. And so I think, like, oh, yeah, I'm not getting that much advertising. Yeah, exactly, because I don't have television, I don't see commercials, but fuck, it's everywhere. It's in, your TV shows that you watch, it's in the YouTube that you're watching, the social media.
Yeah.
And it fucking works.
I know.
It's terrifying. Okay, so let's shoot the science for a little bit.
Okay.
So, there's a lot of debate about whether social media is healthy, particularly for your mental health. So, there was this article in Time Online magazine that rated different social media apps from sort of best to worst. So, it was the Royal Society of... Edit that. So, it was the Royal Society for Public Health surveyed 1,500 UK teens and young adults. And of the 5 social media platforms, can you guess which one was the most positive?
Probably not Facebook. Probably Twitter.
No, it was YouTube.
Okay.
But followed closely by Twitter.
Okay.
Then Facebook, then Snapchat, and finally Instagram was the worst. Which I totally get because it's all visual.
Yeah.
So, while the photo-based platform, Instagram, got points for self-expression and self-identity, it was also associated with high levels of anxiety, depression, bullying, and FOMO. Fear of missing out.
Damn, that FOMO.
It's real.
It is so real.
It is so real.
And the thing, I feel like with Instagram, too, like, you have to one-up each other and, like, stage your photos so perfectly.
Yes.
And it's never just, like, a candid moment, or it's rarely a candid moment anyway.
Well, it's all staged, especially when they're bigger social influencers. Like, we're not just talking about, your friends who are out in Australia traveling and you really want to be there, but it's also, there's, like, styles to Instagram. I mean, they have some people have pages where there's an aesthetic.
Yeah.
And it's built, and there are teams who work on it, rather than just one person posting randomly.
Yeah. A lot goes into it.
So much goes into it. So, they receive negative marks as well, especially for sleep quality, amen, bullying, body image, and FOMO, again. But unlike YouTube, the other 4 networks were associated with increases in depression and anxiety. Doesn't surprise you. So, it says that social media posts can also set unrealistic expectations and create feelings of inadequacy and low self-esteem.
Yep.
Which makes sense. Other research has found that the more social networks a young adult uses, the more likely he or she is to report depression and anxiety. Trying to navigate between different norms and friend networks on various platforms could be to blame. Although it's also possible that people with poor mental health are drawn to multiple social media platforms in the first place. So it's kind of a chicken or the egg.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I get that, especially when, you know, we grew up without social media. We had MSN Messenger.
Yeah.
And then we got Facebook, I remember, in like the last year of high school. But it wasn't huge.
Okay. I got Facebook when I was like 16 or 17.
Okay. But it was, but not everybody had it.
But not everybody had it.
Yeah. So I can't imagine growing up, especially being in middle school, like those years suck.
Yeah.
Anyway, and having to keep up with all of your friends, especially something like Twitter where it's a little bit more anonymous. Mm-hmm. What that would do to my self-esteem, just trying to navigate socially.
Yeah. And like, they talked a lot about bullying, and it's so easy to hide behind the computer screen, right?
Yeah.
Because you're not seeing the pain on their face. You're not getting that human interaction.
Yeah. It's very anonymous, or it can be. So the report recommended two possible solutions.
Okay.
The first one was perhaps introducing a pop-up heavy usage warning within these apps or websites.
Okay. Reminiscent of the Netflix, Are You Still There?
Yeah. I mean, this probably would be, you could program it, I'm sure, to say, okay, if I'm on Facebook for consecutive, 15 minutes,
The thing about social media is it's so ubiquitous, and like, you're gonna have that little pop-up on your cell phone, like...
Yeah.
I don't think it would do anything. I really don't.
No? You think you would just hit ignore really quick?
Yeah.
And I think it probably would instill, like, feelings of guilt, I'm sure.
Probably.
That aren't healthy.
But I don't even think that a young person's mind...
Yeah.
Because they don't see anything wrong with spending time on here.
True.
I don't think that the guilt would be instilled in them. I think for maybe older people who are realizing, like, oh my god, I'm wasting my life away looking at the social media platform.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. But not for the younger generations.
Fair. I could see that. And then the other solution they brought was... it could call for the government to sort of instill these safe social media use programs during health education in schools, and for professionals who work with youth to be trained in digital and social media, and then for more research to be conducted in the effects of social media on mental health.
I mean, I would support that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think definitely in health education, because I think mental health, there is some sort of association between social media use and mental health.
Right.
I think it's definitely important for educators to be acknowledging that social media has a huge role in young kids' lives.
Yeah.
So to be able to learn on some level how to use them responsibly, I think would definitely be useful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Okay. Next article came from the BBC. Here's this statistic I'm going to throw at you. 3 billion people, around 40% of the world's population, use online social media. And we're spending an average of 2 hours a day sharing, liking, tweeting, and updating on these platforms, according to some reports.
Only 2 hours?
Yeah. That actually does surprise me.
I feel like it would be a lot more.
I'd probably
spend average. 2 hours just at night before I actually go to bed.
That's true.
Which is probably why I sleep so shitty. But... that's like the last 2 hours before I end my day. That doesn't even include the rest of the day.
Yeah. I mean, I could see how that would be brought down by a world average.
Yeah, probably.
Really. And looking at different age groups, right? I mean, I'm sure our age group, maybe a little bit lower, have the most use. So in 2014, it says, researchers in Austria found that participants reported lower moods after using Facebook for 20 minutes compared to those who just browsed the internet. The study suggested that people felt that way because they saw it as a waste of time. There you go. That's the feeling of guilt.
90% of the time I'm on Facebook.
Do you feel guilty?
I don't feel guilty, but I put down my phone. I'm like, there was no new content. Yeah. That was a waste of my time.
Yeah.
If I were reading something I was interested in and, like, learning, I'd be definitely in a better mood. That's all.
Okay, so it says, again, that despite the argument that from a few researchers that tweeting may be harder to resist than cigarettes and alcohol, social media addiction isn't included in the latest diagnostic manual, the DMSV, or DSM. 5. What did I say?
DMS. It's all good.
Edit.
Don't edit.
Okay. So social media addiction isn't included in the latest DSM, but for mental health disorders. But if social media addiction does exist, it would be a type of internet addiction that is a classified disorder. So, 2 researchers from Nottingham Trent University in the UK have analyzed 43 previous different studies on the matter in a big meta-analysis and concluded that social media addiction is a mental health problem that may require professional treatment. They found that excessive usage was linked to relationship problems, worse academic achievement, and less participation in offline communities, and found that those who could be more vulnerable to a social media addiction include those dependent on alcohol, the highly extroverted, and those who use social media to compensate for fewer ties in real life.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all.
Not at all.
Nope. It's sad.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it's so pervasive, as we've said, that, like, it's easier than smoking or going to get booze.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's in your hand.
And there's a huge social pressure to be on social media.
Yeah, that too.
So the flip side of this is that there was another meta-analysis done by 3 awesome ladies at Monash University and University of Melbourne in Australia. And it was published in the Journal of Mental Health. They reviewed 70 studies that have examined how social network use relates to depression, anxiety, and subjective well-being.
Okay.
Across the studies, it appears as though it's not so much social media that causes anxiety and depression, but that people have different ways of using social media, which may be more or less helpful. So, for example, a person who reported high levels of well-being liked to use Facebook to catch up on the latest gossip and share with others fun things that happened during the day. But another person who suffers from depression spent hours browsing the newsfeed and bemoaning how nice everyone else's life seems. I think that is totally true.
Yes.
I think anything in life, it's how you look at it and what attitude you decide to take.
Yeah.
Now, again, is it the chicken or the egg? Like, you know, if you use it more often, will you then become in a more depressive or anxious state? Or is it just that somebody who is in a good place in their lives can use it responsibly and can use it in a healthy way? But
I think it's a characteristic that you as a person have to have in order to be able to look at this content and say, this is not a reflection of my life.
Yeah.
This is the perspective of these people's lives that they want me to see.
Right. But then I think the trouble then is sort of figuring out who you are, right? Are you the kind of person who could benefit or could use it, you know, responsibly and in a positive way? Or are you the kind of person who gets dragged down by it? And I think that that boils down to personal responsibility.
Yeah.
Which is tough because sometimes you don't realize how something is making your life more negative.
Yeah.
Until you're already sort of really in it, in the trenches. And then how do you get yourself up out of that?
Yeah.
So, I mean, this review saw that the number of hours that people spent on social media didn't necessarily make a clear difference. It was more the feeling of being addicted to it. It seems like what a person writes about is more indicative of their state of mental health than the number of hours spent online. Absolutely. Like those people that share. Yeah. I mean, we all have someone on social media, you know, a friend or someone who follows us or we follow them, who is so negative and comments on, you know, the state of their lives and the hardships that they're going through. Yeah. And it's like, you have to wonder, is social media, A, is it the platform for that? And B, is it a place for them to, in a healthy way, be expressing those feelings and getting, you know, great advice and whatnot? Or is it totally inappropriate for them to be doing so because it's just contributing to the negative state?
Basically, they should be going to therapy instead of putting it out on Facebook. I agree.
Absolutely.
People, go to therapy. Even if you don't think you have issues, go to therapy.
Yeah.
It's the best thing that ever happened to me.
Yeah.
For reals. And, like, I've had family members ask me, like, oh, do you think you should be on Facebook? Like, you've been pretty down lately. And I'm like, oh my God, like, this is me making myself feel better. It does not drag me down. It's like, oh, my best friend's, like, doing this on the other side of the world. Yeah. And, yeah.
Okay, so sort of the take-home message of this review was that we each have unique patterns in how we use social media in terms of the language that we use and how we behave when we're using it. So, do you keep your friends updated on your activities? No. I mean, I don't personally. Do you post pictures of your family?
I do.
Yeah.
Mainly because and this is tough, my family is my job at this point.
Yeah.
I take care of 3 little children, and they are the cutest fucking children you ever did see.
They are.
And so, like, that's what I do all day.
Yeah.
I look at their cuteness, and I want to share that with the world.
Well, and so that's a good thing. Like, that's a...
And I have the parents' permission.
Yeah.
I'm not just, putting their faces out there, but...
Right.
I think if I had a different job, no, I really wouldn't. Like, if I go on holidays and I'm not seeing the kids every day, like, I don't post.
Yeah. Well, it's your everyday life, right?
Exactly.
Do you complain about work or other people on social media?
I don't think so.
I don't think I do. I mean, there was one post that I made about things that adults do that I'll never do.
Oh, I remember this one.
It was like buy lottery tickets, watch This Is Us, and get married.
Which, honey, oh my God. That is a whole other conversation you and I need to have.
Right? So, I mean, I think I complain about things in a funny way, but I'll never complain about, like, real things that are going on in life.
No. And, like, I drop, like, sarcastic things.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
Because why the hell not? I think I'm hilarious.
You are.
Okay.
So it suggests that it's valuable to pause and consider what our behavioral patterns are, and by understanding them better, we can potentially make better choices about how to best use social media, as well as use it to promote good mental health. I agree. Yeah.
And you know what? Like, using it responsibly and properly, I look at, like, Bell Let's Talk.
Yeah.
And, okay, I have my issues with Bell Let's Talk, because let's not limit it to one day, and let's not, compartmentalize everything into this one little ball.
Yeah.
But I think it also does a lot of good about getting the word out, and it does fundraise a lot of money. If you don't know what Bell Let's Talk is, look it up.
Yeah, absolutely. Because social media can be used to spread a really positive message.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's important to remember.
For sure.
Okay, well, I think that's it.
That's it?
Yeah.
That's it? That's all?
Yeah.
All right.
We don't know how to end these things.
We never do.
No.
Shout out to our editor, JP, because he does a lot of helping us in this area.
Thanks, JP.
Love you, JP.
Bye. Bye. Thank you for listening to the Two Drugged Girls podcast with Rachel and Jessica.
This podcast has been brought to you by no current sponsors, so connect with us at twodruggedgirlspodcast@gmail.com.
Subscribe to our podcast on SoundCloud and leave us a review.
Don't forget to catch our next episode.
Stay cool.
Bye.